Hi, my name is Erfrin, and this is a guide on how to play Sivir effectively. I'm a Plat 2 player on the EU West servers. Now in this guide we will go over the runes, masteries, builds, abilities, laning phase, and teamfighting. Right, let's get started. For your summoner spells, pick up Flash and Barrier. In some cases when you're against a team with strong, focused CC, then switching Barrier for Cleanse is definitely viable. But Flash and Barrier will be your core on Sivir. Now there isn't much of a variation with runes when it comes to ADs. For reds we take attack damage because there is no other viable choice. For yellows we take flat armor because ADs are extremely squishy. For blues we take flat magic res, again same reason because ADs are squishy. And for quints, free lifesteal. This adds up to 6% lifesteal, and that combined with Doran's Blade will give you some sustain in the laning phase. Now with the recent changes to the masteries, this is just my personal preference, so we go 21, 9, 0 on Sivir. This gives Sivir some extra damage that can scale into the late game, whilst the 9 points into the defensive tree boosts her survivability. Let's talk about the builds on Sivir. Now Doran's Blade got nerfed, but it's still a viable choice as a starting item. The other option you may consider is a longsword and health pots. This effectively will mean you're closer to your full build than a Doran starter, but you would lose out on the HP from the Doran's Blade and its on hit health gain. If you can reach 1550 gold, then your first buy should be a BF sword. This will give you a strong advantage in lane if your opponent couldn't afford one, but do consider that if they grab the Vampiric Scepter, they won't hit as hard as you, but they will sustain more than you, meaning that consistent pokes won't be to your advantage. But if you didn't reach the BF sword, then Vampiric Scepter and boot should be your first goal. Your boot should always be Berserker Greaves unless the enemy team is ridiculous CC in which Merc Treads may be viable. Now you want to be looking towards either a Bloodthirst or the Infinity Edge, depending on how well you're doing. Both of these items will give you a strong spike for the mid-game team fights. For your attack speed and crit item, I prefer the Static Shiv over the Phantom Dancer. Now this is due to in this current meta, almost all ADs are required to kite in every engagement, meaning that you make good use of the Static Shiv's proc. Your next item should either be a Last Whisper for the penetration against tanks and bruisers, or perhaps a Guardian Angel as a defensive item. You need to base this decision on how well they are focusing you, if you need more damage or more survivability. But also consider other defensive items like the Quicksilver Sash. This item is fantastic against teams with high CC or focus suppressors. But remember, every single game your build can change. Yes, guides are great for starting out with a champion, but try to base your build on what's happening in that game. Did their whole team pick up armor? Grab that Last Whisper a little earlier. Getting focused hard by that bitch of a Warwick. Pick up a Quicksilver Sash. Now let's talk about why Sivir is my favourite AD carry. A passive, Fleet of Foot, gives Sivir 50 movement speed when you land an auto attack or one of her abilities on a champion. This is huge for chasing and kiting. Next is her Boomerang Blade. This is a range damaging ability. You throw out your blade in a line that comes back like a boomerang. The damage of this ability goes down by 10%, down to a minimum of 40% for each target hit. Now this ability can chunk enemies as they get caught at the end of the ability. Be careful though because the mana cost is high, so don't spam early. Ricochet is her W ability. Now this bad boy resets your auto attacks, meaning you can get damage out fast. Ricochet makes your next 3 attacks bounce indefinitely, meaning the blades don't stop bouncing until there's nothing left. When in lane, abuse this ability by attacking once then popping Ricochet to get a second auto out instantly. It's extremely low mana cost, so don't be afraid to use this off cooldown in lane. Now, her next ability, Spell Shield, will define you either as a pro Sivir or not. The spell costs 0 mana and gives you a shield for 3 seconds, allowing you to block the next incoming spell. If successful, you regain a set amount of mana depending on the level. Now what I meant earlier about this skill defining you was that there's over 100 champions in League. That's a lot of abilities. So you need the knowledge to know which spells to block and which to not. Remember this skill has a huge cooldown, 22 seconds at level 1. And you need to be fast with this ability. I'm talking less than half a second fast. If you can block that Blitzcrank hook, you've just denied him that engage. Now I could talk to you for hours about the proper use of this ability, but let me just show you a few ways to make strong use of it. Now Leona can be hard to deal with in lane, but as Sivir it's no hassle. You can actually spell shield her stun, this alone for an easy counter attack. Try to pop spell shield when Zenith Blade is already mid-air. Be ready to predict certain spells such as the Anti-Tibbers. Always be thinking ahead. I spell shield the Lee Sin Q, giving me enough mana to allow my team to escape with my ultimate. You can try to bait out enemy spells. This can allow your team to engage knowing certain abilities are down. And finally, there's Sivir's ultimate. Sivir's ultimate on the hunt is a good team based ultimate. It gives you and your teammates a movement speed steroid for 10 seconds that reduces over time. It also passively gives you a ricochet attack speed, so his ultimate really gives Sivir the chance to initiate teamfights by simply popping it. It can also be used for escaping and kiting effectively. Now in my opinion, Sivir is one of the safer AD carry picks, because she can still easily farm when counterpicked, unlike a poor Vayne in the Caitlyn lane. When lane starts, remember to pick up your warding trinket and go help defend your jungler's red or blue, or invade if you're feeling daring. Now Sivir can harass extremely well in lane, so abuse this with the auto reset and boomerang, but consider that this will most likely push your lane, so ward accordingly. As Sivir, max Q first, and then max W second. Make sure to take a point in spell shield, and level your ultimate when possible. Try to take note of what spells you'll be against in lane, and use your spell shield for free mana. This could consist of Caitlyn's traps, her Piltover Peacemaker, Ezreal's Mystic Shot, you get the picture. But if you're against abilities that CC, such as Taric Stern or Leona combo, then consider that they may notice you used your shield and go aggressive. If you can clip the opponent with your boomerang blade at its max cast range with nothing blocking you, do it. This will chunk crazily. When sieging their turret, remember to reset your autos with ricochet, but note that your autos will then bounce to the AD and support, giving you tower aggro. A lot of people will say that bot lane is decided by the support. I wholeheartedly agree with this, so try to follow your support when he engages and let him decide on the lane speed. Of course harass when you can and go deep if you see an opportunity, but remember you're relying on your support to back you up. Now as the AD, you will feel a lot of pressure from mid and jungle in your lane, so ward well and back up if you see someone coming to gank. If you're getting camped hard, then call for support, set up counter ganks. If you die, then this gives the enemy an opportunity at your turret or dragon. There's a lot of ways to tell if a gank's coming. If you're winning lane and suddenly the enemy AD or support goes aggressive, you know something's up. It's because they're about to turn this into a 3-on-2, so don't get baited into these things. Finally, expect the unexpected, because I didn't, and well, this happened. Hey dude, can you hear that noise? Yeah, what is that? Holy shit, fuck. Dude. Who runs teleport on a jungle Rammus? Dude, that was your fault. Team fighting as an AD can be very difficult. Even if you're even slightly out of position, there's a chance that you can die and potentially lose the game. As you can see, our team is behind and trying to protect the second turret. The enemy team are dead set on engaging. As soon as I see a Mumu bandage toss, I pop my shield knowing he will instantly ult. This alone gave us a huge advantage in the team fight, as I was able to keep my distance, hitting what I could. Try to position yourself behind the bruisers, making it much harder for the enemies to attack you. I will cover more on team fighting with Sivir in my next video. I will also go into more detail on 1v1 duels and 2v2s. I will cover how to kite effectively, and we will look into the attack move feature and smart casting attack move. I really do hope that you enjoyed my guide. This has been Earthrin. Comment if you think I should do more.